So, what have I learned? That if Rhea stands in the light of Solaris's blue sun, her brown hair becomes jet black. I'm writing my report. Trying to write my report. Shifting through what I can include and what I can't. What either hurts too much or what will be combed over, seen as impossible, banned even, seen as the mad babblings of a grief-stricken middle-aged psychologist. The Academy will only place such babblings in a box and throw away the key, and possibly me with it. Lying seems to me to be the only alternative. Gibarian's death was suicide. I understand that now. He was driven to it by his visitor. His visitor, who lies next to him in the morgue in sub-zero temperatures, breathing. His visitor who Dr. Snow and Dr. Sartorius believe the ocean on Solaris conjured up, as it has conjured up their own visitors, as it conjured up mine, my dead wife, Rhea. Rhea, whose long hair looks jet black in the light of the setting blue sun. I'll try and write it. I'll try and write what happened. And then I'll delete, erase, or reshape what I loved most. It was my third night on Solaris. I think Rhea had been sleeping, but I'm not sure if she sleeps.
Is the night over?
Didn't you sleep?
I felt sleepy. I'm not certain that I slept. Is the night over now?
Yes, Rhea. The nights don't last very long here.
No. It's beautiful, isn't it? The blue sun as it rises. There's a mist over the ocean. Come and see. You look so grey in the light. Not like you. Come and see.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Are we going to stay here for long?
Quite a long time, probably. Don't you want to stay here?
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you're so lovely.
Kelvin? Kelvin?
Yes,
It's Snow.
I know.
Sartorius, he wants to talk to you.
Is he coming out?
No, the visual. He'll buzz you.
And you?
I'll be back in my cabin. You have company.
Yes. You?
Let's get back. He'll call you in a minute.
You keep looking at me in such a strange way. It's as though...
What?
As though you were doubtful of something. As though you didn't trust me.
You know I do.
As though... I don't know. Something.
There's nothing.
The mist is clearing now.
Yes.
By the way you're denying it, I know I'm right. I think I'll have a shower.
Yes.
Can you stand where I can see you?
Yes.
Please?
Yes, of course I will, Rhea. Good day to you, Dr. Sartorius. Snow.
Indeed. Andrew Kelvin. I would like to raise the question of the motivation behind the appearance of those hanging fly creatures. They're not autonomous individuals, nor are they copies of actual persons. They're merely projections materializing from our brains based on a given individual. Yes?
Yes, that's a good definition.
The origin of the material lies on the most durable imprints of our memory, those which are especially well defined. Would you agree?
Yes, I suppose so.
Snow?
Yes. I won't be long.
Snow, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
One might conclude that we are the object of an experiment.
An experiment?
Not
comprehension.
You don't think it's premeditated?
No.
But why choose such specific memories?
Why not choose happy memories?
Sartorius?
Everything's under control. Everything. Unlike Snow, I do not believe that there is malice or deliberate cruelty.
I wasn't suggesting that. I was merely trying to find, like we all are, an explanation.
What I do think, obviously, is that we must join forces to find a way through continuing experimentation on the ocean of not just curbing. No. Ridding ourselves of these. No.
Sartorius?
We must find a way of eliminating. No. Go. No.
Eliminating?
Sartorius, I can't see you. You're not on the screen. Sartorius?
Please, let go. Let go.
He's gone. I must go too.
Snow?
Now. We'll talk later.
Who are those men?
Scientists.
Good scientists.
Yes, I think so.
What do they want to get rid of?
They made a mistake.
A mistake?
They created something. Now I suppose they don't want it.
They created it.
Well, I think so. Maybe the ocean created it for them.
Have they created monsters?
Perhaps. I'm going to take a shower.
Monsters.
I'm taking a shower.
Monsters.
I'm in the shower. Rhea, calm down. I'm just in the shower. Rhea!
There you are! There you are!
Come on, come on.
I'm
Come on.
here!
Come
You're
on.
here!
Come on, lie down. Of course I'm here.
Why
Of
did
course
you lock it? Why did you lock it?
Come on, lie down. Lie down. Shut your eyes. That's it. Breathe slowly. It's all right now. It's all right. Lie still. That's it. Wait till you've recovered. Shh, don't talk. Just breathe. That's it. That's right.
Chris,
Yes, Ray.
what happened?
You're bleeding.
What happened to me?
I'll get some bandages for your hands.
Glass all over the floor.
Can you remember what you felt?
No, I saw you weren't there. You weren't there, Chris, and I was suddenly very afraid.
But I was only next door. I was in the next room. You could hear the shower.
But it was locked.
Force of habit.
Tried to open it and I couldn't get in, and then I can't remember anything else.
Nothing else.
No, Chris. The door frame. I couldn't have done that. I don't understand. What are you doing?
I'm just taking a blood sample. Check that you're 100%. All over. There. Let me bandage your hands now. They're badly cut. She had torn a lighting strip from the ceiling and there was a crack in the paneling. The door to the shower had been ripped off and the metal door frame was bent. I leaned forward over the microscope, and beneath my gaze was a vast desert flooded with silvery light strewn with red corpuscles, which tremble and wriggle behind a veil of mist. Rhea's blood. I refocused and penetrated deeper. A single corpuscle detached itself. I enlarged the image. It was flawless. Everything as it should be. Then I remember we walked around the space station. She seemed happy. Rhea on a happy day, laughing and running her hands across my shoulders, her fingers through mine. I was deceiving her. What else could I do? Deceive her. The blue sun sinks into the horizon and we return to the cabin, undress, and I curl myself around her. And as I lay with my hands in hers, I see the nails that were torn on the shower door have already grown back. And the cut that was across her hand is already a scar. And that too is now fading. Rhea. What is it? Rhea?
Don't talk to me.
Why? What's the matter?
I heard.
Heard what?
You said you wanted me to go. And I would. I really would. But I can't. I don't know. I've tried to go. I have tried, but I couldn't. I'm such a coward.
Rhea, you've been having a silly dream. Of course I want to. Of course I do. Please don't say such things. You believe me, don't you? Don't you?
I don't know what to believe.
We're together, aren't we? It's good, isn't it? Isn't it? Why would I not want you? You believe me? Say you believe me.
I don't know.
Rhea, let me hold you. Come here so I can hold you properly. Rhea, my darling.
Yes, all right.
There. You see? You see now.
It's no good. You're not the same person anymore. I heard you. You don't want me. I knew it before, but I pretended not to notice. And I heard you. I heard you in your sleep. Just then, while you were sleeping, you shouted out. You said you didn't want me. Why? Just tell me why. What have I done?
Rhea, my little...
No, I won't have you talking to me like that. Do you hear? I won't let you. I'm not your little anything. I'm not a child. I'm not.
Don't. Please don't. The last thing I want to do is upset you. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you the truth.
The whole truth. On your heart.
On my heart.
Yes. On your heart. The truth.
The truth. You have changed too. We all change. It seems to me that you were forced to stay near me. I can't leave you either.
No, Chris. The change is not you. It's me. Something is wrong. Perhaps it's to do with the accident.
The bathroom door.
Yes.
Have you been able to sleep?
I'm not sure. I have dreams, but I don't know if they are really dreams. I lie here and can't stop my mind from thinking.
And what do you think?
Strange things. I don't know where they come from.
In what way?
I get a feeling as if they were not from inside myself. I can't explain it. I can't put it into words.
It must be some kind of dream. Look, let's put the light out, and we'll forget our problems until the morning. Okay?
Yes. Okay. Hold me again. Tighter. Tighter still. Grace,
What is it?
I love you.
And the following day I would have typed that note to Snow and Sartorius. On examining the blood taken from the fire creature, I have drawn a conclusion which you might consider. The blood sample appeared normal. flawless, in fact. The structure is made up of particles at least 10,000 times smaller than atoms. If the albuminous molecules and the cells are directly constructed from microatoms, they must be proportionally even smaller, a camouflage. The real structure, which determines the function of the visitor, remains concealed. I believe it may well be a neutrino structure. It may be possible to destabilize the structure, the phi creature, with a magnetic field which blocks the neutrinos. And I sent it. I sent it. And my heart folded as I sent it, sunk, watching her from my desk, watching her conscious of my looking as she pretended to sleep. Later in the afternoon, we watched a mimoid form and then collapse back into the ocean, the waves reclaiming the intricate forms and fabulous constructs of the plasma as it fought for its last moments of life. It's a terrible thing to watch.
But beautiful.
The ocean. It's too frightening to be beautiful.
Can't things be both?
There. The sea's calming down again now.
What is it?
It's a message from Snow. He wants to talk to me.
What are you doing?
Have you got your headphones on?
Yes.
Why don't you want me to hear what you're saying?
And she can't hear me?
We're just talking shop, Ray.
Why can't I listen?
It's work.
Are you sure she can't?
Yes.
It's at night it reads us.
How do you know?
Sartorius has been observing it when we're both asleep. The modulations change. He's quite convinced that this is when the ocean penetrates into us.
So?
Sartorius wants to beam an electroencephalograph of our waking thoughts at the ocean.
Our conscious brain.
Rather than our unconscious, exactly. We think that's what it's picked up from us, unconscious thoughts, desires, dread.
Will this last long?
Not much longer.
We want to use an encephalograph of your brain. Are you opposed to the idea? Are you opposed to the idea?
I don't think it'll work.
All right. There's another option. Sartorius has been working on a Roche apparatus to eliminate neutrino particles. It's not completed yet. We'll call it Project Liberation.
Project Slaughterhouse, more like.
Do you have a plan?
What about the energy released?
You're opposed to this, too.
I just think it's potentially dangerous.
You don't want to be liberated.
I didn't say that I was opposed to it. I said I thought it was potentially dangerous.
It's better than nothing.
I'll think about it.
Have you been able to listen to Kabarian's recording?
No.
She's always with you, of course. And you don't know what he says on it, do you? And if she hears...
Is there anything else?
No.
Okay, then.
What did he want? Has he upset you?
No.
I can see he has. Tell me.
It's nothing. It's a ridiculous, unthought-through experiment they want to do. It won't achieve anything. It won't achieve anything at all. It was a hypothesis I sent them. I can't believe they've taken it seriously. You'd think they'd have more sense. You'd think they'd have...
So cross.
And then she took my hands and placed them around her waist, pressing her body against mine. Then she put one finger on my angry lips and whispered,
You always get so cross when people don't agree with you.
She kissed my closed eyelids and pressed her mouth against mine. I smelt her hair, and she ran her fingers down my back. I touched her soft skin, her neck, along the backs of her legs, and held her, and kissed her, and held her, and kissed her. It was Rhea as she unfolds. I knew that without the slightest doubt. This was Rhea. You belong to me. You belong to me. The night stares back at me, amorphous, blind, infinite, without frontiers. Then even sleeping became impossible. It was as if the ocean crawled into me. The same dream, or ones like it, over and over again. I would be standing in pink mist in a void, an endless thing. Alien matter enveloped me. I can neither retreat nor turn away. I'm frozen. I feel the contact of hesitant fingers, a neck, an arm, lips, a face. This creature, a woman, stays near to me. The beat of our hearts combines, and out of this void, all around me, there comes a feeling, a sense thick in the mist, a sense of indefinable, unimaginable cruelty. Our bodies dissolve into separate tiny crawling things that spin and separate still further, that return to the infinity that surrounds us. I howl soundlessly, begging for death, but I am simultaneously dispersed in all directions. My grief expands in a suffering more acute than any waking state.
This is what you did, and this is what you
Gibarian?
did, and this is what you did.
Gibarian?
No,
I thought I heard Gibarian.
no. You were dreaming. Go back to sleep.
Then Gibarian's recorder disappeared. Have you seen an alloy recorder?
No.
It belonged to Gibarian.
Gibarian.
The scientist that was here before me. The one who... You all right?
Don't worry. They're not real
Have you
tears.
seen the recorder? What's the matter?
You're not being fair.
Fair.
Will you tell me the truth?
Of course. Why would I lie?
You might have your reasons. It might be necessary.
I'll tell you the truth.
I've already told you that I don't know how I got here.
Yes,
Perhaps you know how I got here.
I don't know.
But if you do know, and you can't tell me now, will you tell me one day later on? It couldn't be any worse, and you would at least be giving me a chance.
What are you talking about, child? What chance?
Chris, whatever I may be, I am certainly not a child. You promised me an answer.
I'm not hiding anything.
All right.
Rhea.
No, it's all right.
Rhea, you know that I love you.
Me.
Yes.
It really doesn't matter. Go back to sleep.
Rhea,
Go to sleep.
let me hold you then.
All right.
Rhea? Rhea? Where are you? I ran out of the cabin and into the corridor outside. At its end, there was a huddled white form, throwing itself repeatedly against the floor. A freezing vapor filled the space. My breath fell like snow. White flakes swirled over the crumpled body before it struck the floor again. It was Rhea. I snatched her up, and she burnt my skin. Her face was contorted with pain, and her lips were covered with a layer of thick frozen blood. Her tongue was a mass of sparkling ice crystals. She had taken liquid oxygen. Splinters of glass crunched underfoot as I brought her back to our room. Her breathing became more and more labored. Her ribs heaved under her white skin. Her bones creaked, and her face creased up in unimaginable pain. Pink foam appeared around her mouth. But still she gasped for air, and then a harsh rattle grew louder. Her eyes opened. I watched, helpless. She was dying. I felt no pulse in her wrist, and yet she still looked at me.
No, no!
I waited for her final breath, and I did not realize what was happening. Her color began to return. She rolled her head away from me and brought her hands up to her face.
It didn't work. It doesn't work. Why are you looking at me like that? Why are you looking at me like that? Is this me? Is it? Am I Rhea? Am I? But I'm not, am I? I'm not Rhea. Who am I then? And you, Chris? Perhaps you too. Perhaps you too.
Rhea.
I frightened you. I'm sorry. What else could I think? You understand? What else could I think except that I was Rhea? Did you think this was all an act, did you? Tell me you didn't. Tell me.
Please, my darling.
Don't touch me. Leave me alone. I know I disgust you. I know I do. If I only knew how...
To kill yourself.
Yeah.
But I want you to stay alive. I want you here more than anything else.
You're lying.
Tell me what I have to do to convince you. You are here. You exist. I can't see any further than that.
It's not true. Because I am not Rhea.
Then who are you?
I... Something else. Something other than... I am not the woman you once loved.
Yes, but that was a long time ago. The past doesn't exist. But you do. Here and now.
That first morning, when I found myself waiting by your bed for you to wake up, I knew nothing. Everything was misty. I didn't remember anything, and yet wasn't surprised by anything. It was like recovering from a drugged sleep. Then after your conversations, the visual, those scientists, something didn't make sense anymore. So I made my mind up to listen to... What was his name? The recording.
Gibarian.
Yes. His recording. It's the only time I've lied to you. He explained everything. Although I still don't understand. All I know is that I am not a human being. Only an instrument.
Rhea. No, we're not the same. But that's what brought you back to me.
So I'm immortal. How horrible.
Rhea, I don't know what our fate will be any more than we can know anyone's fate.
The experiment that Snow and Sartorius are doing, it will continue?
Yes. They'll continue it. I'm trying to make you realize that I love you. I want to keep you. You may have been sent to torment me, or to make my life happier, or an instrument used like a microscope with me on the slide. But today, what we have today is this, is ours, is here and now. Please, let this be us together, for all the moments we have right now.
I don't know. I don't know. Am I exactly as she looked?
You were at first, but I don't know anymore. Now all I see is you. If you were her, I might not be able to love you.
Why?
Because of what I did to her.
Did you treat her badly?
Yes, when we...
Don't say any more. Please, don't. Then you won't forget that I am the one who is here now, not her.
Sartorius and Snow became set on their experiment. I was convinced that it was pointless. Rhea agreed to wait outside the lab. She thought she might be able to manage it if she could faintly hear my voice. She stood outside the door. I knew it would be agony for her.
Sartorius will be here in a moment.
Right. Is there something behind the screen?
Yes, well, there's no need to worry about that.
No.
It'll be all right as long as it can hear me.
She knows. Last night, while I was asleep, she drank liquid oxygen. It didn't work, of course. But she now knows what she is.
Why tell me?
Well, to inform you. I don't know, to keep you up to date.
I warned you.
When?
Well, not of this exactly. When it arrives, the visitor, it's almost a blank. Only a ghost made of memories and vague images dredged from its source. The longer it stays with you, the more human it becomes, and the longer that goes on, the more difficult it gets. Does she know everything?
Yes, I've just told you.
Does she know that she came once before and you...
No.
Well, what do you want to do? Leave the station?
Yes.
But with her? Don't look at me like that. Why would I stand in your way? You can do what you like, but it's an idiotic plan, noble though it might be. Do you know the necessary conditions for stabilizing a neutrino field?
No.
No, nor does anyone. All we know is that the structure is inherently unstable and can only be maintained by a continuous energy input. And does the energy come from inside the visitor or from outside? You see the problem?
Yes.
Away from Solaris, the structure will disintegrate. It's only a theory, Kelvin. We could check it.
How?
The shuttle you launched with your first visitor inside, we could...
No.
We could bring the shuttle down and see if she's still there and...
No! I didn't mean to...
To murder her. But you did.
I love her.
Her memory, you mean?
No. I told you what she did to herself. How many real human beings would have the courage to do that?
Okay, she loves you. Let's say she loves you and you want to love her. It's not the same thing.
You're wrong.
If she was an ugly old hag, you wouldn't think twice about getting rid of her, would you? Well, maybe that's why she isn't. You can only finish where you started. I say we bring the first one back.
That's enough!
Like I said, you can do what you like, but you're losing touch with reality. The further you go, the harder the fall will be.
Shut up! Shut up!
Dr. Kelvin, Snow? Yes, well, we're all a little bothered here, aren't we? You ready or not? I haven't got long.
We're ready.
Dr. Kelvin, sit back and relax. Just readjust the cabling. What I would suggest, Dr. Kelvin, to assist the recording is that you clear your mind as much as possible. Make an effort to eliminate any intrusion of individual personalities and concentrate on the matter in hand. I'll talk to you as we proceed. Suggest things to think of. Snow?
Ready?
Yes. Let's get started.
Earth and Solaris. The body of science considered as a single entity.
I attempted to empty my mind and focus on some or any of Sartorius's suggestions. Hardships, sacrifice, humanity. But Rhea was alive inside me. Rhea living within me. I was overwhelmed with grief and tenderness. She permeated every part of my being herself, her form. I needed her, needed to have her always. The possibility of being parted from her was unbearable. I tried to cut her out of my mind, return to hardships, sacrifice, humanity. But she pervades. There is nothing but Rhea. I could not even protect her from the ocean.
Chris! Are you finished? I held out as long as I could, Chris!
It's all right. You can come in. It's over now.
How do you do?
This is Dr. Snow. Rhea.
Oh, excuse me, I have to go. It's all right. Thank you.
And this is Dr. Sartorius.
How nice to meet you.
Can we go now?
Yes, of course.
Why do they stare so?
You're a beautiful woman. Why shouldn't they?
Who's he talking to?
I don't know.
His visitor?
Yes. Yes, I should think so.
Something not like me. Is that why they stare?
Perhaps.
Something not like me at all.
No.
Something much worse. Their shame.
Rhea, I don't ever want to be without you.
I know.
Do you?
Yes.
I don't want to be parted from you for a single moment. Ever again.
No.
And that night they would have begun to beam my encephalograph, my recorded thoughts, onto the ocean. And I dream. I had another terrible dream. A dream of unfolding dread. There was an unmoving, clotted silence, and I felt myself being slowly, minutely explored, although no hand touched me. Every crevice, every turn of my mind observed without touching. And then that terrible disintegration. And emptiness that remained. Emptiness and annihilation. Every inch of me penetrated by the silence of the ocean. No.
Chris? Chris? You're dreaming. You shouted out. Chris? Are you all right?
What?
You shouted out. Tell me.
It was only a dream.
Is it me?
No.
Is it me in your dreams? Giving you nightmares?
No. No, of course not.
Is it the experiment?
Yes, it must be that.
Will it work?
Communication. No. They're floundering. Drowning in what we don't understand and never will. They're convinced that we'll eventually uncover the ocean's secret. It's pointless. Like wandering around a library where all the books are in an indecipherable code.
Are there no other planets like this?
Not that we found. I want you to come back with me.
Back with you?
Home. To Earth.
Yes.
Don't you want to come?
Yes, of course I do.
You don't, do you? We can be together.
Yes, of course. Why wouldn't I?
Good. That's agreed then.
Chris?
What?
The ocean.
There were thick congealing membranes on the surface. Green foam. A wind hurled itself across the plasma, carrying immense membranous wings, which soared up into the blue sunset. Some of these vast wings blotted out the sun, casting us into darkness. It was as if the ocean was mutating, shedding a scaly skin. The wings were only a few meters from the station. One left a silver trail across the cabin window. The ocean gave birth to more and more of these fantastic birds, whilst above us the first of these forms dissipated into transparent white filament that dropped like ash across the station.
frightened, Chris. What's the ocean doing?
The ocean continued to create its monstrous flying forms, so we retreated into the library. I spent much of that time watching Rhea as she pretended to read. She knew I watched her, waited for the blue sun to hit the skylights in the library and turn her hair jet black. Often during that time, I realize now, she would attempt to stand back from me, to wait further down the corridor, and I would panic for a moment when I couldn't see her. And then she'd emerge, shaking. It was as if she was testing herself, and I would wait for her. I'd put my arms out and hold her again. I'd talk to her about Earth, about grass and sky.
So, you've stopped shaving, have you?
Snow.
It doesn't suit you.
Have you been drinking?
No, Kelvin, I've been thinking, not drinking. Perhaps the old fellow wishes us well. Perhaps he wants to please us, but doesn't quite know how to do it. It spies out our brains when all we get is the 2%, don't we? That's our consciousness. 2% of the working brain. That means it knows us better than we do. Hmm? We've got to reach an understanding with him. Don't you want to? Why don't you shave?
Shut up.
Gibarian stopped shaving. That's how it began.
You're drunk.
What of it? Just because I'm in space exploring the cosmos doesn't mean I'm not allowed to get drunk with you and your Aphrodite. Oh, fair Aphrodite, child of the ocean, let me take your divine hand. It fits, eh, Kelvin?
You're hurting me.
Let go of her hand.
There you are, and returned.
Get out.
What on earth are you chucking me out? You're the one with the bristle. Do you know what Sartorius wants to do? He wants to punish it. Punish it. Hear it scream. Oh, excuse me, Aphrodite. Kelvin, excuse me. And go and shave.
Is he ill?
No. Just unhappy.
Because of his visitor?
Yes. Two more days passed, and only then did the ugly flying forms of the ocean finally stop. We were going to live in a place just outside a city, with trees and sun, and her head on my lap, and our new life stretching before us.
If it's what you want.
Yes, I'm certain. You mustn't tell him.
No, of course not.
Rhea, who are you talking to?
I think he's awake.
Rhea?
I wasn't talking to anyone.
But you were in the corridor.
You're imagining things. Shh. Sleep now.
Do you like jasmine?
I don't know.
It's a flower. A white starlight flower. A creeper. It has the most beautiful scent. I've always wanted a garden with jasmine in it. Maybe I could find you a picture. Maybe the scent even. I thought in our garden...
Don't talk to me about our new life anymore, Chris.
Why?
We've talked about it so much.
Too much?
There's a glass of fruit juice on the side. Would you pass it to me? Here. You have some too.
I'm not thirsty.
Drink to my health then.
All right.
Tired?
A little.
Well, turn the light off and we'll sleep then. I didn't exist, would you marry?
No.
Never?
No. Never.
Why?
Because I have you.
What if I begged you to?
Don't be silly. I don't need anyone but you.
Say it another way.
I love you. Are you crying? Why are you crying? Rhea?
It's nothing. Nothing at all. Sleep now. Sleep now, my darling.
Rhea? Is that you? Rhea, come back to bed. It's cold without you. Why are you sitting over there?
It's not Rhea.
Snow. Where is she?
She's gone.
What do you mean she's gone? You've done something to her. What have you done to her?
She's dead.
No.
She wanted it. She's dead, Chris.
But she'll be back.
Drink this.
No. You told her to drug me, didn't you?
Drink this.
How? Tell me how.
Disintegration. Sartorius built a destabilizer and she disappeared. A puff of smoke and she was gone.
But she'll come back.
No.
How do you know?
The day the ocean went mad, since those winged forms, they don't come back.
You killed her!
Yes, and you would have done the same thing in my place.
No, I wouldn't have! You must get her back. There must be something you can do. Blast it, X-ray it, throw gamma rays
No,
at it.
no.
It's performed an experiment on us. It's used knowledge which it stole from our minds without our consent.
You want to destroy it.
Didn't you? I just want her back.
You couldn't have taken her with you even if the neutrinos had stayed together. Immigration, you'd have never got her through. You'd have been separated. Separated. And then you would have been found out. Do you think she didn't know that? That's why she tried to hang back from you, tried to stand away.
Get her back, you bastard! Get her back!
Here.
What is it?
A note. She left you a note.
My darling, I was the one who asked him. He's a good man. I am sorry. I beg you to give me this one wish. Do nothing to harm yourself. You have been marvelous.
Bring her back, Snow. Bring her back now.
Don't you see, you ignorant... Don't you see, she gave you your freedom back. She gave you back yourself. She forgave you and then killed herself for you. Can't you see that? Can't you see that? My visitors... My visitors... They were very different. You have no idea. You have just no idea.
I have two versions of my report. One is this, and one is a different account. A tidy, reasoned account, where the self and its memory remains unclouded, and Gibarion dies due to an overwhelming depression, not due to a visiting phantom and unfathomable, terrifying shame, believing in the end that that was all he was. Sartorius and Snow have decided to stay on. I will be returning to Earth in a month. Snow visits me most days to attempt to dissuade me. The ocean is blue today, the sun at its highest point. The sky is a darker shade of blue, Clouds are white and fluffy, and for a moment I'm already back. Before the plasma thickens, changes, bubbles into new intricate forms. A tender monster to wave me home.
You wanted me? Haven't you got anything to do?
I was just thinking a few things over.
Maybe you should think less.
Do you believe in God?
No, of course not.
Not a perfect God. An imperfect God.
Well, like the Greek gods, who sulk, have feuds. Jealous gods.
No. I'm talking about a God whose imperfections are his essential characteristics. A fallible God. Incapable of foreseeing the consequences of his acts. A God who has created clocks, but not the time they measure.
Manichaeism.
No. Nothing to do with good and evil. This God has no existence outside of matter.
An evolving God, who keeps increasing in power while remaining aware of his powerlessness.
Yes. A God where the divine condition is a situation without a goal. An understanding which he despairs of.
And Solaris, that's what you mean, Solaris could be the first phase of this despairing God. And we will have been the baby's toys for a while.
A child.
Of course. Everything falls into place. The failure to achieve contacts.
Yes.
The absence of responses.
Yes.
And the various other peculiarities in his behavior. Everything is explicable in terms of its behavior as a very small child.
Yes, of course. A child.
Yes. Look, a mimoid, just beginning. What are you doing?
I won't be long.
It's not safe with a mimoid forming.
Really, I won't be long.
It's
I'll come
not
back.
safe.
I'll fly over it. I'll go further, to one of the islands. I've not stood on Solaris yet.
I'll go with you.
There's no need. I'm coming back.
I'll walk with you then to the crafts.
There's no need.
You will come back.
Yes, Snow. I will come back. I climb in, give him a wave and slide the hatch across. The jets spring into action and I'm away. I pass over the forming mimoid until I'm way over the other side and land on a small rocky islet. I climb out and carefully pick my way through jagged grey rock down to the shoreline. I place my gloved hand in the ocean. The wave hesitates, recoils, and then envelops my hand without touching it. A thin layer of air between it and me. I raise my hand slowly and the wave follows me. The main body of the wave remains motionless on the shore surrounding my boots without touching them. A jet black flower has grown up out of the ocean. I go to touch it, but the stem trembles, stirs with uncertainty, and falls back into the wave. I'm still hesitating about returning to Earth, as I still hope, unreasonably, that she might still return. I'm looking at the ocean, begging it. I want to go on living here, amongst the things we touched, shared together, the air that we breathed, all I loved most. I want to be certain that nothing fades, that my memory doesn't shift and alter. I want to be certain that her memory is kept forever, each moment a keepsake. I hope for nothing, and yet I live in expectation, waiting. Since she went, that is all that remains. And yet I persist in the hope, in the faith that the time for cruel miracles has not yet passed.
In Solaris, Chris was played by Ron Cook, and Snow by Tim McMullen. Rhea was played by Joanne Froggatt, and Sartorius by Stuart Richman. Original music was composed and performed by Alice Truman. Sound design was by Steve Brook. Solaris was written by Stanislav Lem, dramatised by Hattie Naylor, and directed in Manchester by Polly Thomas.